Okay, welcome back guys to the channel. Haven't shown you the prep version because everybody has their own individual prep, as in dry rub and injecting the turkey and all that good stuff. But we are going to show you basically how to safely fry a turkey from this point. Okay, we've got our thermostat inside our bucket here, as you can see. It hooks to the sidewall here. We've got a nice big pot here ready to go, but let's get the oil put in it here. Quick safety tip. During this process, it is imperative and it's super important not to get any oil on the outside of your pot, because your flames are going to come up and that's what starts a fire. So we're going to be very careful, methodical, and make sure, oh, you know, I'm going to take this out of the box. I just don't trust it. Come on there, buddy. Okay. The other thing, you want to make sure this part goes nice and smooth. Oop. Where's that fill line? Okay, there it is. Okay, we're going to save ourselves a little bit. Okay, next we're going to move this thing. It's also important that you level out your cooking surface. This is super important so it doesn't slide off. I just really quickly grabbed a leveled it both ways, and making sure that it's nice and solid, because once you've got the turkey on there and it is at full boil, literally, it's too late at that point. Keep in mind, there are 4,400 house fires so far to this point. Actually, I think it was double that. I think it was $46 million in property damage just from frying a turkey. So safety is the key here, folks, but let's get this up on here. And we want to make sure we get it centered and get our thermostat where we can read it. Okay, perfect. Now, basically, I'm always like getting our stuff cleaned up and out of the way. That way, if we've got to make a run for it, we're not going to trip over something that we left behind. Anyways, propane is on. Let's get this lit again. Okay, now I'm just going to double check, make sure that this thing is 100% stable. That's a very key component here, making sure this is stable. Now, at this point, we're just going to jack up the heat. We're going to get this to about 300 to 350 degrees. When you first put your turkey in, I recommend right around 300 degrees and then crank the heat up from there. This next step that we're going to show you coming up, where you're putting the turkey in, is probably the most important and most dangerous part of the whole operation. But we've got our turkey that we're going to show you here in a minute. Inside, completely dried off. We've got the dry rub. We've already injected it with our garlic butter marinade. So anyways, stay tuned. Let's get back to the turkey. Okay, here we've got our fully ready to go 18-pound turkey. We've got a dry rub of proprietary blend. We injected this with a melted butter garlic combo, basically all over breast, legs, and then we dry rubbed the entire thing, both bottom and top. I even put some dry rub up into the gut cavity there. But goes without saying, but please make sure you trim off the little bit of fat here along the neck. Make sure you get the gut bag out, the neck out. Basically, you want this thing at room temperature before you even think about sticking it into the oil. Also, you want to make sure that it's dry. It's okay if your dry rub is on there, but you don't want water. You want to make sure, I just take some paper towels and stuff it up into the gut cavity there, basically to make sure that there's no water, because that is what makes that oil pop, and we all know what happens when boiling oil hits water. But we have got our lid ready with our temperature gauge hole. We have our turkey stand, which is ready to go. And basically all we're waiting for is that oil to come up to temp. And at that point, we will put our stand on our turkey and take one of our hooks here, I'll show you here in a minute, and we'll shove it in the oil. But let's get ready. Okay, welcome back, guys. This right here is the most dangerous and important part of this process. I've got our turkey here. We've got it completely dried off. I've got my hanger here, and we're just going to slowly, let me set this over to the side, slowly let this go down. Okay, here we go, guys. Just off camera here, I've got my daughter with a fire extinguisher. Do not, I repeat, do not get a garden hose. Oil and water do not mix. So fire extinguisher, baking soda, but in our case, because it's so much oil and so much flame, we are well away here. You can see the truck in the background, but it is at least 25 feet away. We basically have a 25-foot circle away. The shop is right behind us here, so we're as safe as we can be. Okay, here we go. Okay, we did it. Okay, we basically have the lid on right away. I'm not gonna lie, guys, it scares me every single time, just because as you lower that in there, it really is crackling and popping. We probably had the oil just a little bit too hot. When we put it in, it was really close to 330 degrees, which I usually like to make sure the oil is closer to 290, 300. But the other key is it's gonna snap, crackle, pop no matter what. So you wanna try to get that lid, like I did, on as soon as possible, and that's gonna help protect that grease from boiling over. Bottom line, you don't want the grease to hit the flame, because that's how you get your instant fire. But we are now in safely, we are fire free. At this point, we are 3 minutes to 3.5 minutes per pound. So let's set the timer for a 20-pound turkey, and we'll see you here in about an hour. Thank you. Okay, welcome back. We are at the end here. I'm going to remove the lid. A lot of people, there is some controversy and debate on whether or not to keep the lid on. We had a big giant turkey. It was 20 pounds plus. The pot was probably just a tad bit too small, so I went ahead and put the lid on. Yes, you know, you got to keep an eye on the flame because it will make it overall hotter. But I'm going to remove the lid. The flame's been off now for about 15 minutes. We're down to about 290 degree oil temperature, but I'm going to carefully take the lid off. The stand has cooled down a little bit. There are no open flames. That's super important. You don't want any open flames at this point. So let's go ahead and take the lid off. Then I'm going to put the turkey, I'm going to slowly pull the turkey off, and you'll see how I do that and how you let the turkey drain. But I apologize for the light out here, but let's get this done. Okay, make sure you've got an oven mitt, rubber gloves, just something to protect your hands and stuff with. But we're just going to slowly take this out and just let it drain. You want to try to get as much of the oil off of it as you can. Now also too, inside my container, I should have probably showed you that beforehand, but I've got paper towels lined in there, just like you would if you fry anything else, just to absorb some of the oil. But right now I'm just letting it hang here, use a little brute strength. You'll notice that it's really dark. This will be darker than any other turkey that you've, of any other method of cooking a turkey you've ever done. And don't let that scare you. That is actually what helps this cooking method wind up with a better turkey. It actually sears and cooks the outside skin, and so the moisture inside stays within inside the bird. But that is absolutely 100% normal. But I think we've got all the oil out of it here, so let's put it down onto our sheet, and there we go. Now let your oil just open air, cool down. The gas is off. I let this cool down to, you know, basically 70, 80 degrees, and then I reuse my oil. So I've got a big dedicated funnel. I'm going to use the original oil container. Anyways, let's go inside and enjoy the turkey.